Hello and welcome today. Today I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about sighting in your bow and fine tuning that bow. Um, we just had a really fun, great learning opportunity the other day at the range, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about a few things that we've noticed out on the range, especially when you're buying a brand new bow or you're just starting to learn. So my dad just got a brand new bow, and initially it's not shooting right. He's assuming that he's got to fine tune his side ends on that bow. One thing that I do have to say is I feel like that's one of the biggest mistakes. That's not where you initially want to go when you're just starting to shoot a new bow. Of course, your bow is going to need some adjustments, so don't get me wrong. That definitely will happen. However, there are some things that you're going to notice about your shooting style with a new bow. Each bow is going to feel a little different, and it's going to shoot a little different than maybe the bow you were used to prior. Or if you're brand new, it's just about learning the bow in and of itself, and then the bow itself. So, my dad just kind of go through my little story here. My dad just recently, he's 78 years old. He just recently had shoulder surgery. Prior to this, he was shooting at 70 pounds. Just an amazing bow hunter, somebody I always love to learn with. Since then, like I say, he's had shoulder surgery. And as a result, we've had to adjust some things on his bow. Turned out his old bow that he was shooting at 70 pounds just wasn't going down to the weight that he needed it to. With this new shoulder replacement, of course, he's just coming back not as strong as he was. And at 78, there's going to be some adjustments that he's going through. As a result, we went ahead and we helped him purchase a new bow. So he got a new bow. And with that, it goes down to about 35 pounds. So he's shooting, I think, at like 40 or 45 now. Just to re-strengthen that shoulder and re-get to know that. And so we were out on the range, and initially he just wanted to go ahead and fine-tune that sight in, right? So he immediately wants to start messing with his sights. And as he was shooting, we noticed some things. And it had a lot to do with how he was holding that bow, how he was managing the bow itself, and the things that he was doing that he needed to readjust before we decided to sight in the bow itself. That's going to be key in order to successfully get your bow where you really need it, and what that looks like. And you'll notice in the next few clips here, you'll notice there's some things that he kind of needed to adjust on. We did notice that as he was shooting, right upon release, he was kind of doing this number, which when you do that, your bow is going to shoot those arrows up, right? And he noticed he was consistently shooting high. So we started working on fine-tuning those. So let me show you a few clips here, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about.
Fairly quiet bow, though.
Yeah, it's real light too. All right. So as we moved down the range, he started adjusting to those to that. He started really paying attention to what his left hand was doing, and what was happening is he wasn't having he basically didn't have this here, right? So this is going to be your brace, so that as you're shooting, right now mine's a little loose, but you'll want to tighten that up so that as you're shooting, this is just your rest hand right here. So this is really just to keep your bow stable as you're shooting. So if you're upon release, you're doing this number again, that's not going to help you. So as we moved down the range, he really started focusing on what his right hand was doing. Now, kind of funny story, as I was moving down the range with him, I noticed what I was doing is every time I would go to shoot, again, you want this hand just like really relaxed. You do not want to be gripping onto this at all. So you want to keep that hand really relaxed. And what I was doing is I started a really stupid habit, which again, that's just a part of shooting. Sometimes you'll find yourself doing really funky things, and it's time for you to reevaluate what you're doing. So what I was doing is, upon releasing, I would be rested here. I would be real relaxed, and then right a second I would release, I'd grip it like this. And now what that does, it does the same thing my dad was doing. Whoop, right? You're going to grip it and your bow's going to come up like this. Now, when you have a whisker biscuit, especially as you rest, what happens is you're fletching. The second it touches this, when you do this, that arrow is still going to be adjusting with your bow. So it's going to kind of catch on here, and then that arrow is going to shoot up. The second I grip it, it's shooting up. So that's something you really want to stop and reevaluate. Again, make sure that as you're going through, you're truly evaluating what you are doing as a shooter, because not always is it going to be your sights. And I think that's one of the number one thing, especially newer shooters really want. They think it's the bow, but honestly, 7 times out of 10, it's you. It's just the shooter. It's things that you are doing that you can adjust. So I think as you go out to your next range day, really try to pay attention to what you are doing as a shooter. What is it that your body language is saying? Are you, as you release your bow, are you keeping your hand rested? Is your draw length correct? And I'm going to do a next segment on different sort of exercises that you can do to help you really adjust and make sure that your body language is really doing the right thing. But I think the first key is to really analyze what you're doing as a shooter before you go ahead and touch those sights. On this last shoot of the day, you'll see that I've taken the time today to go ahead and really pay attention to my body, and I have finally gotten rid of that habit I was creating, and now I'm shooting back on target. Thank you guys so much.